Hey, I was in Kentucky. I woke up in Kentucky this morning. So, my wife is from Kentucky. So, I love great Kentucky bourbon. I've got so many friends that make great Kentucky bourbons. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon. It is. The charcoal mellowing process does not prevent us from being labeled as bourbon. We could certainly do that. But our history, if you go back and look all the way back to when Jack Daniel was alive, he never, ever put the word bourbon on his label. And the one difference in process, the only difference in process, is that charcoal mellowing process. And so we give so much credit to the great bourbon makers out there. And in fact, yes, Jack Daniel's is a bourbon. If it's on a bourbon list and we're out at a restaurant or somewhere and you want to point it out to me, that's fine. Doesn't bother me a bit. That's usually what I say because it is. All Tennessee whiskey qualifies as bourbon, but not all bourbon can qualify as Tennessee whiskey. At the end of the day, I like to quote our first ever salesman, Mr. Angelo Lucchese, that started working for the brand. He was from Memphis, Tennessee, started working in 1953 for Jack Daniels, ended up becoming very good friends with Mr. Sinatra. And he told me one time I was listening to him speak in front of a group of probably 500 people in this big conference room somewhere. And he got up there, and he was probably in his 80s, and he was a really kind of short guy, could barely kind of see over the podium, and leaned up into the mic, and he said, a lot of people ask me, they say, Angelo, what does Jack Daniels really taste like? And, people were expecting to hear like 100 different, kind of flavor notes, and some of the stuff can get a little crazy, I think, sometimes in the descriptions. But he said, you know what it tastes like? He said, it tastes good. And he took a sample, and he's put it down, and the whole room just went crazy. So at the end of the day, this is about making great whiskey. What you want to call it, what you don't want to call it, that's fine. But I just want to get it in as many people's hands as we can and that they enjoy it, and enjoy it, of course, responsibly.